Okafor Street in Ajao Estate, you can't deny the fact that something's cooking. Literally, I can smell the aroma of jollof rice. Or is that stew? Anyway, in just a moment, I'll be speaking to the founder of a food processing company that saves you the stress of cooking. I'm Annette Felix, and you're welcome to Startups.
We want to be the biggest ready-to-eat foods in Africa. It's going to take a lot of work, but I feel like we can do it. I was inspired by a company that produces ragu sauce. Ragu is a pasta sauce that I ate a lot when I was in the US, and they're a very big company. And when I look at them, I look at, okay, you know, if these guys can be that big, you know, we can also be very big here in Nigeria. So that's the company that I look at for inspiration and say, okay, I want to be the, you know, next ragu of Africa, but ready, you know, ready to eat foods, basically, and be that big. My name is Onyekachi Ekeze, and I'm founder CEO of Kaptain Foods Limited.
It's a busy world out here, and people are always on the move. But one thing they must stop to do is eat, and one entrepreneur is helping to bring convenience to the table.
And the idea is that when you get home, you can just boil your pasta or boil your rice, and instead of using tomato paste, you just pour your ready stew on it and warm it, and it's ready to go.
Kachi turned to food production after a downturn in the oil and gas industry cost him his job of 8 years as a drilling engineer. He then took a bold step to try something different, and in September 2016, Kaptain Foods produced its first batch of ready-to-eat stews.
I started a business from my kitchen, and I was producing it for a while, right? Yeah, for about 3 months, you know, because I wanted to really understand where this, you know, what the feasibility of this product would be. And I didn't want to invest so much in the beginning stages, but once I realized that, okay, wow, this is actually moving, you know, we knew that, okay, there's restocking, there's, you know, interest for the product, then we decided to come to this factory. You know, and then we're also looking to even move out of this factory to a new space now, because it's become quite tight for us here. It was very miniature scale, it was nothing significant. We were just trying to, you know, see how the product would look on the shelf, you know, what the offtake would be, you know, and things like that. So that's how we started. It was a very small thing.
Akomlafe Adetola, head of production and quality control at Kaptain Foods, explains the production process from start to finish.
Basically, when the raw materials get in, we use tomatoes, the fresh produce, tomatoes, onions, pepper. The production staffs, they do the sorting. The pepper, they remove the heads, the onions, they cut the unneeded parts. And then after that, we wash. We have a washing machine that does the washing. So after like 4 cycles, we remove them from the washing machine, then to the blender. And then after the blending process, we transfer to the cooking pots where it's being cooked. And once it's cooked to the required level, then we transfer to the holding tank. From there, it's transferred to the filling machine that does the filling at a very high temperature, and it's sealed. Then it's rapidly cooled.
Kaptain Foods partners with farmers across Nigeria to get fresh materials for production and to ensure quality control.
We work with farmers all over, and it gives me a lot of joy knowing that we're getting fresh produce from our local farmers, transporting it to the factory, and then it goes through our washing process, blending process, cooking process, and then packaging process. And then after which it goes into the storage. From the storage, we distribute to supermarkets all over, ShopRite, Spar, Adiba, a whole host of Hubmart, a whole host of supermarkets around Lagos, Abuja. We're in Kano. We're expanding our distribution outreach now. So it's a full integrated process.
Ready-to-eat stews is a novel concept in Nigeria, and most Nigerians are yet to embrace it. Kachi says it's the skepticism of the people and distribution of the product that are their major challenges.
A lot of these things exist in other markets. It's a new idea to Nigeria. But the whole point is that our packaging technology prevents oxygen from entering the product. Also our heating process. So we heat up. The heating process within our production line helps us with retaining the freshness of the product, and then the packaging technology also keeps the product. And then also there's oil and different natural preservatives, salt, different preservatives inside, natural preservatives inside the product. So it's a combined process to ensure that we have the shelf life that we say that we do, which is 1 year. We need to get more distributors. We need to push this product into the market. If we do that, if we can successfully push our product into the market with distributors, creating awareness, and and ensuring that this product is available in all the nooks and crannies in Nigeria, then that would be a big win for us. So that's what our sole focus. We know that on the production side, we've sorted out everything. We're fine. This year will be distribution, launching of some new pack sizes, and then potentially new products for this year. But the biggest one is distribution.
This shiny and attractive packaging wasn't their first try. Previous packaging had cost them a lot because it wasn't durable, and their high price tag in the beginning wasn't making them any money.
We had some challenges with packaging, right? Some of our packaging were leaking because of either from the factory defects or factory errors, and then packaging errors that we had from the supplier. So those were issues that we were facing, but then we were able to correct them, and those are two of the biggest challenges that we had. And then also, even on the market side, just sending the right message to the market, like what is this product about? Our message where we were sending wasn't really the right message in the beginning. We had to change the message. And pricing, we got it wrong on the pricing. We had to, pricing is so important. Nigeria is a price-sensitive market, and we had to adjust our pricing to ensure that it's not about making a whole bunch of margins in the beginning of the business. It's to ensure that you have the volumes.
Kaptain Foods have come a long way since 2017, and Kachi says they recorded 50% year-on-year growth. They are now introducing new pack sizes to cost 100 Naira for everyone to afford a meal.
We didn't do enough marketing. We're doing mostly experientials, so getting people to try the product, which I think was key, because I felt like we did some marketing on radio and things like that, but for this product, you need experientials. People need to actually physically engage with the product. And that's what we're really doing now. We're going to be launching a new pack size that will give away for free to people so they can engage with the product. And that's really important, because a lot of people couldn't believe that stew can be kept and packed or produced in this manner. So experientials are very key. So that's what we're really focusing on now. And then we'll do the conventional marketing of TV, more radio, all the different things. But experientials, I think, is very key at this stage for the business. When we started in 2017, the volumes were low, but in 2018 was better. We grew, we sold significantly more than 2017, and then this year will be also a big year. And we're also working with some suppliers. Like we supply the Nigerian army, which we're very proud of. They're using our product, and we're very proud of that. And we hope this will continue to develop more products for them, because they're obviously in the battleground, fighting wars. So they need, quick serve meals like what we're doing, like our product. And we want to be able to also help the government, with any school feeding programs that they have. This could work. Instead of having going through the stress of cooking from the beginning, they can just get rice and then have our product ready for them, and it's easier and it's cheaper for them.
Agriculture is one of the mainstays of Nigeria's economy, and Kaptain Foods is leveraging on that to achieve its vision of being the biggest ready-to-eat foods company in Africa. How do you go from here to there with all the traffic around you? Deji thought about this question in 2017 and his answer was Gokada. So I'm right here at the Gokada headquarters in Ilupeju, Lagos to find out how he made this happen. Join me.
Motorcycles are actually the most functional form of transport. They are the only form of transport that can get you to your location as fast as you need to get, right? But the problem with the motorcycles at the time, before we came in, was that motorcycles and motorcycle riders were associated with, thefts, vices, high rate of accidents, crimes, robberies. So it was really an uphill battle for us. But we knew that coming into this market, we wanted to change the narrative. We wanted to, give people, a service that they could use quickly and also safely.
My name is Deji Odunton, and I'm the CEO of Gokada.
Commuting by motorbikes is nothing new, but the innovation here with Gokada is their branding and technology. They built a mobile application that enables people order a ride and are easily recognized by their green color and the G logo.
What motivated us was the need to solve a very prevalent source of problem here in Lagos, which is the issues people have with traffic. Congestion and traffic have been, prevalent in the state for a while. And this hampers the productivity of the average consumer or the average commuter in Lagos. And we were thinking to ourselves, how do we solve this problem by moving people around the city safely and also quickly? And we understood that motorcycles were actually the most functional form of transport. However, there were challenges, historic challenges with motorcycles. The drivers were untrained, the drivers were uncultured, there were high rate of accidents, there were vices like theft that were associated with these motorcycles. So we were trying to identify how to find the right balance between using a two-wheeler to solve the traffic issue and also being able to communicate safety and trust to the average commuter in Lagos.
Deji Odunton launched Gokada 1 year ago to commute Nigerians on the watchwords of speed and safety. And that's why he took these steps.
We have a very unique way we look at safety, and insurance just forms and reinforces that notion. For safety, it's really a focal point for us because, as you know, we are coming from a place where people are averse to motorcycles. They have the worst experiences. People have had accidents with motorcycles. People have lost lives with motorcycles. People talk about Igobi as the motorcycle hub for accidents. So we know that, or we knew that when we were coming in, safety was going to be a make or break for us. And some of the initiatives I had mentioned in the past were to sort of reinforce, our commitment to safety. I'd mentioned them earlier: the usage of helmets, the usage of disposable hairnets, the processes we put in place for driver recruitment, enforcement of a lot of initiatives that just reinforce that safety. So it's a big focal point for us. And when we closed 2018, our accident rate was about 0.013, which is really, really negligible compared to what you have with other forms of transport.
Gokada's headquarters is a tastefully furnished office with not less than 1,000 staff members. But it wasn't like this in the beginning. Deji started his company in a one-room apartment in Yaba. He invested 250,000 naira into the business and convinced a man named Olalekan to be the first rider on Gokada.
He used to work as an admin manager in a logistics firm. And the transition from working a 9 to 5 to being a driver isn't the ideal transition for anyone. However, Gokada is a platform where you see a lot of opportunities, and he saw those opportunities at Gokada. So he knew that being a driver was more than just riding a bike. It was being one of the first sets of people to change a narrative that would last for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Right? He understood that this narrative that we're trying to change has been in place for the past 20, 30 years with Okadas. So he knew that he was going to be one of the driving forces for this. So that was what he saw, as opposed to just riding a bike. And after 6 months of riding with us, he transitioned to being a contract staff. He was an onboarding staff or onboarding agent with us. And then after spending a couple of months as an onboarding agent, he now heads one of our hubs at the Abeson Alimosho axis.
The National Bureau of Statistics puts the country's unemployment rate at 23%. And for Deji, his business was not just to make money, but to make an impact. On their 1-year anniversary, Gokada launched a driver training and education program to teach interested youth to ride a bike and make money off the skill.
In addition to the traffic issue we wanted to solve, we also found out along the way that there was a very strong initiative that we could focus on as a company, which was empowerment. We found out that there were a lot of drivers who were coming to meet us that, oh, I want to drive for Gokada. I'm either unemployed or I'm underemployed. I don't earn as much as I should earn. And on Gokada, drivers are able to earn as much as 200,000 per month, depending on the number of rides they do. So we got we had huge interest from drivers. But what we found was, because of our safety, our safety value proposition, we were unable to take all the drivers. We only took the drivers who met our criteria, which is relatively high for this industry. So we asked ourselves, how do we empower these drivers? They are unable to ride for us, but these are potential drivers that could ride for us someday. So we decided to launch the training school. The training school is going to be a place where drivers would come who probably don't know how to drive, but we have multiple programs for the learners. For a month, they would learn with us and then graduate from the program, and then they are able to be given a bike. There are also drivers who are relatively good, but they still need more training, so they come on the weekends. So the whole idea behind the training school is we want to empower the next generation of drivers, and we feel this is a very strong initiative that we could focus on that would drive, the empowerment angle for us. So it's a big focus for us.
Their major challenge is funds to increase the number of bikes to serve their growing market. But they intend to tackle this through a newly unveiled financial partner program.
We sort of take our eyes off the traditional financiers and go to the public. And thankfully, we've gotten very strong interest from you and the likes of you and I. We've gotten very strong interest from the average Lagosian. They want to invest in Gokada. They want to put bikes on the platform. So this program would be a program where Gokada is able to get more bikes on the platform. We're able to serve more customers. We're able to open up in more regions, and customers are able to make more money. So it's something that we feel will be very pivotal in our 2019.
Deji explains that with funding and enhanced technology, all the challenges with their mobile application would be resolved.
We've gone through a series of apps. Some were not ideal. Before we launched this current app, we had one called Gokada Lite, which had its own challenges, right? So quite a number of the complaints you see on the stores are because of the app we used to run a few months back, but that has changed with the new app that we've launched. In addition, there are some things that we can solve with tech. There are also some things that we feel we could solve with operational efficiency. So there are a lot of complaints that are primarily because we don't have enough drivers. So someone sees a Gokada and is like, oh, I want to take this, and then the person lives in Festac and then downloads the app and then doesn't see a driver because we don't have so many drivers in Festac. The customer would go to the Play Store and say, I downloaded your app, it's not working, there are no drivers. But it's also because we don't have enough bikes to serve the growing population that want to use the service. So on one end, while we keep investing in our tech, we also are trying to look for strong, and sustainable financing options that can get our bike numbers to the level at which we can offer the service to customers seamlessly.
But Gokada isn't stopping here. The bigger picture for them is transportation beyond bikes.
This is how we are thinking of the future of transportation, and this can only be achieved through tech. So this is where we are now. As you know, we operate a motorcycle taxi service, but we've seen opportunities in these other verticals where we could offer these services. For instance, this is what you call probably a Go Ferry. We know that 25% of Lagos is covered by water. But even at that, we know that the millions of Lagosians still move by road, right? And if you want to solve the traffic situation, you don't necessarily have to solve it by just solving problems on the road. If we put boats and ferries on the waterways and we tell people, hey, you know what, why don't you move from the roads and move to the waters? You could get people to their locations in 10, 20, 30 minutes. Trips that would have taken 1-2 hours in traffic, you could get them in 10, 20 minutes. From Ikorodu, for instance, to Marina, you could get them in 20 minutes, and that trip would take you ordinarily 2-3 hours by road. So that's an opportunity that we see. We are also cognizant of the fact that there are a lot of initiatives that the government has to put in place for this to work effectively. The waterways have to be dredged, the channels have to be created. A lot of work still needs to be done. But we are also cognizant of that, and our eyes are set on that. You have very ambitious verticals here. That's like the chopper, the planes. That would be more longer term. We have the bicycles or scooters, if you may. Right now, Gokada focuses on medium to long distance trips. And that's because people want to move long distance with their bikes. But we've also seen opportunities for people to go short distances. So you want to go around streets, you want to go around your universities. We feel the likes of bicycles, scooters that are also economic friendly, would be opportunities for us to tackle in the near future. And then there's also cars, if the demand is strong enough. So yeah, we see varying options here where we could basically offer services.
Many startups like this are blazing trails in the transportation industry, but to make real progress, the government would need to ensure ease of doing business. And you just heard from entrepreneurs who are breaking bounds in the transportation and food industry. And I hope you're convinced and are motivated to start something new. And that brings us to the end of the program. It's been Startups on TV360 Nigeria. I am Aneta Felix. Bye for now.